Come with me. I gotta show you something. The first caterpillar of the spring. He's gonna get corona from the trash truck. I left my hair dryer in my office from using it to dry pages in my art journal. So I just took it upon myself to come on in here and get my hair dry. Hello, wonderful shiny friend. How are you? Today's entry is going to be journal entry 33 and 34. It will be a mixture of different things: painted burlap, regular burlap, stamps, a piece of window screen, papers that I saved, lace, and more stamps, and a note card where I took notes from listening to a sermon or someone speak. I'm not real sure. It was a fun page to put together on the little clear paper there that's parchment paper. I use parchment paper as a page for this journal, which I thought was kind of cool. That way you can see through, and the see-through there is the Lipton tea bag. The little cylinder piece of paper laying on the right side of the journal that's kind of got mauve and turquoise and stuff on it, and a little white. That is a clipping that I got out of a catalog that came here in the mail to the house, and the colors in it just kind of caught my eye. I had saved it long back before even starting this journal, so I was excited to put it to use on this journal page. I hope that you are doing well, and at the time of this recording of this voiceover for this entry is during the corona COVID-19 pandemic, where most of, if not all of us, are shut-ins, shelter in place. We are hunkered down at home, looking for things to do to pass our time. But if you're anything like me and a lot of other creative friends that I have talked to or read their Facebook statuses or watched their videos, you realize that motivation during this time, whether it is a creative process or some other type of work from home, the motivation has come in waves, and in some sense is thereof lacking. I told someone the other day it had been zapped for me. I've even heard people talk about that they don't want to talk about this pandemic. They want to just carry on because they know people are sick and tired of hearing about it. And I have to say, guys, this is just not something we can avoid. This is not something that we can tiptoe around, something that we can just not talk about. Because we are living and we are making history. This is something that our grandchildren will probably never even live to see. It will probably be another 100 years before anyone ever faces anything like this again. I've lived through a lot of things in my life. I've had a lot of hardships. I've had a lot of things to overcome in my life. And I have to say, This is the first time I've ever seen anything like this, as I know it is for you as well. I share all of that as an encouragement to you. No matter where you find yourself, whether you are motivated or non motivated, or not even real sure what you are, I do encourage you to take one moment, one step at a time. Do not be discouraged where you are on this journey because there's no right or wrong way. If feelings arise, you face those feelings head on. You give them a moment of their time, but do not let them take up rented space in your mind, in your heart, in your soul. You quietly let them pass through and then get a grip and move forward. If you're looking for something, encouragement, and you're not quite ready to start a journal, maybe you can make a postcard with some scrap items that are around your house. Maybe you have some stamps that you could stick on there to do a mail out to encourage someone during this time. Several years ago, the Postal Service talked about not doing Saturday mail anymore, that they were not going to deliver on Saturdays anymore. And it really just caught my attention because I love mail. I always have. I've had pen pals. If you've watched my previous videos, even before this journal series, you know that I love mail. I always have. I've had pen pals since I was a little girl. And several years ago, whenever it came up, when the post office was talking about not sending mail out on Saturdays, I started a series that was called Send More Saturday Mail. And I created handmade postcards. And if you really want to know the truth, they were similar to this. I would use scrap pieces of paper on recycled cardboard. Actually, the cardboard was from the church pamphlets that I would bring home at the end of the week from church on Sundays, and I would even have friends save me theirs. It was just a good quality of cardboard, and so I would paint over those, and then I would take scrap papers and glue them on, and then just write encouraging words, and even whoever I was sending it to would kind of give them an encouragement word of truth for who they were and where they stood in their current life. Like if it was a mother, I would encourage her and let her know what I saw in her as a mother. It's just good to be able to have someone in your life like that, and we are all capable of it. Even for those who encourage, they need encouragement too. So anyway, during that series, I mailed out several postcards. It really was a fun thing to do and a fun treat, and I've kind of thought about doing one again. But anyway, I've heard several people throughout this pandemic that one of the things that they've done is sent mail to people. And so I share all this with you to encourage you that if you do want to encourage someone, send them a piece of mail. Create something there on scrap paper that you have and use the back side of it as blank. If it's not blank, get a piece of white paper and tape it to the back to make it blank. Or if you have some white or cream, or even like a light green or yellow, anything that you can make it a solid color, and therefore you could write your little message and send it off. Or you could always put it in an envelope. I will say this though, sending mail and receiving mail, we do still need to be precautious of germs during this pandemic. If you are sending mail, I encourage you not to, if you do use an envelope, not to lick the envelope. Either use you a damp paper towel, which I have found in the past that sometimes doing this does not get the envelope to secure very well. So I would do that and put tape, or either just cut to the chase and put tape. Even if it's packing tape, even if it's just some kind of silly tape, something to secure it shut that's not actually causing you to lick it and put your germs on it. And then for those of you who receive mail, whether it is mail from someone like that, or any type of mail, I encourage you to leave it longer in the mailbox, especially on the days that it's hot and it can zap those germs, or whenever you bring it in, spray Lysol or some other form of disinfectant. And I'll be honest with you, you saw me at the beginning of this video going out with a can of Lysol to spray my trash cans. I have become exhausted of all of this. I have become exhausted of trying to wash my hands all the time, make sure everything's sterile, clean, the mail, or clean the trash cans, or take care of my groceries or my car where I've been if I've had to go to the store. It has become exhausting. It's mentally draining and it's physically draining. And so I have to say that there have been a time or two since filming this video with a clip of me using Lysol on the trash cans. I have just said, you know what, forget it. Just forget it. I'm tired of all this. And I have taken measures into my own hands of just getting the cans up, getting the mail up, and coming straight in and washing my hands with warm water and soap, and then wiping my door handle to my house off. It just seems like a simpler measure versus carrying that Lysol all the way down there and spraying the cans, not knowing if you're even getting where the trash truck touched. Today's entries were pretty self-explanatory. I hope that you enjoyed watching me put these 2 pages together as we discussed some of the current events going on in our world. If you are new here, my name is Ashley Murphy. I'm an artist and an author who encourages artistic leadership. I encourage you to find your way of shining a light of influence out into the world. Please come back next time. We would love to have you, and it's a pleasure of having you here with us today. I've noticed that the numbers around here are growing. Numbers as in our community is growing. It's not about a number for me. It's about an individual who shows up, who wants to shine their light of influence, who wants to create. Remember that you are amazing, you are loved, and we will get through this pandemic. May your day be full of joy, joy in places that you didn't think exist, joy in things that you choose to do to fill your time during this isolation, a time to reflect, a time to grow. So therefore, we come out stronger on the other side.